And I imagine we'll soon have a live channel. And there it is. So, hello everyone, and welcome at last to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer as Zaleen.
I really want to know how somebody becomes friends with the Emperor. Just saying.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn.
Save some people.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Oh my gosh, we have so many new friends!
And Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock.
Oddly enough, that's not one of my questions.
So, when last we left our heroes, the Pocket Protectors, they had been arrested by representatives of the Tashmian Empire and were taken in custody back to the capital city of Pashan, whereupon they were interrogated by Nelson Devereaux, self-proclaimed friend of the Emperor. However, it seems that during your questioning, he was persuaded of the truth, which is that you do not actually have specific intentions to work against the Empire, and you are not, in fact, guilty of some of the things that they thought you might be responsible for. And pretty much at worst, you are blundering into dangerous situations in a manner that they occasionally find useful.
Blundering is a pretty good descriptor. Yeah.
Yep.
And so in a sort of probationary trial run, they have need of a team with expertise in pocket dimensions and a desire to rescue people. And so you have been tasked to help recover the people who were in the administration building when your adversary, Percival Cankers, caused it to be dissolved into fungus. And can those people be rescued? Well, hopefully. But in the meantime, you were all given rooms at a downtown Pashan hotel to stay at. And I think that there was discussion that you should go ahead and try to get to sleep early, because the intent is for you to get started in this operation before dawn, so as to have fewer people on the street, so to speak. But you also... Sorry, my dog just made a weird noise across the room. You also managed to get in touch with Yobert, Lord Relent, who, with Sequential and Sorashana and Evan, were all in the Flying Castle out to sea because they were also on the run from the Empire. You explained the nature of the situation. It all felt still a little bit fraught, but it seemed that they were planning at least to return to Pashan and see how that all goes. But that will take them a little bit of time to return. So, as you were all staying in your hotel rooms, once again, Wuta flickers out and off to destinations unknown. And fortunately, he was with you just long enough to have an association with you all, your group, as part of the interrogation, and so they know he's with you if he shows up again. But given the plan, did you have any suggestions, objections, questions about the operation, or are you just planning to meet your escort down in the hotel lobby at 3 a.m.?
That's really early.
Why aren't we going to bed at like 5 p.m.?
It's also been a really long day.
Yeah.
Did we cross a time zone somewhere?
several probably.
Yeah. There. Yeah. How do you track time zones and alternate dimensions? There was originally a suggestion of some downtime, but I think that we're accelerating the timeline.
We're
little bit,
hand
but-
waving a little bit. If you wanted to
Yeah.
say you spent, some number of hours doing something, that would be one thing. But I think we're talking perhaps a long evening and then overnight and not several days. But
Okay.
if you wanted to have done, for example, some spell transcribing or something like that, we could talk about how much you would have been able to do.
Yeah, that's basically it. Just there's lots of things to transcribe, and downtime
Yeah.
is the only way to get it done. So
Well, so how about this? Let's imagine that you were asked to meet at 3 a.m. and you were at your liberty, so to speak, at 5 p.m. And so you can't, that's going to be, I guess, 10 hours. And so you may have more time at some future incident, but they are in a hurry with this at this point.
okay. Well, Nedry has a habit of falling asleep in his spell book anyway, so he probably would work. And I can get one spell in 4 hours, so he probably would try to get that in.
How about this? If you could certainly do that, and if you want to try to stay up all night to use all of that time, I'll have you make a Constitution saving throw against a level of exhaustion, and not just it be automatic.
He needs his sleep.
Okay.
He expended quite a bit of energy the previous day, so he needs his sleep.
Okay. All right. Well, certainly you can get at least to one spell. But in the meantime, then you all receive wake up calls or not as you would have arranged, and shall we imagine you are now collecting down in the lobby?
Are we bringing Buster?
Maybe you should
Yeah.
just bring the tower.
Yeah, but I mean, are we
We got
planning
all our
to-
stuff back, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, we got all our stuff back.
I'm just wondering if we're going to bring Buster with us. I mean, we did sort of bring him along to be part of the team.
I think
Yep.
he's okay where he's at for now.
I
Okay.
want him with us.
Okay, but you're in charge of him.
Okay.
I understand.
Ray Render in Pashan. Sounds like a good idea.
Well, so do you have him out in the hotel lobby?
That's what I was asking. Like, are we, what are we doing? Are we going to take him out later or?
I think we should take him out when we get closer to the actual.
Because if
site
there's stuff
of
in
the
alleys
spell.
and everything, we don't know what he'll go chasing after. So
That is true. That's why I'm saying bring the tower, and we'll take him out when we get there.
Okay.
All right. So you are there in the hotel lobby with your gear, and it's early, so things are pretty quiet. But there is an earth genasi with a sort of brownish, almost like pebbly texture skin, and dark hair, and he introduces himself as shoot, I had a name and I'm suddenly Das. His name is Das, and he is wearing a uniform, and he says, "Good morning. I am to escort you to the site, and I can try to answer any questions you may have. I have the statement of our best, I guess." The person that we questioned, who we believe might have had some, given us some idea to believe that there might be people still in there. But he's not available right now, but I have his statement.
Okay. Well,
What did he say?
Well, let's
Walk and talk.
Walk and talk.
Yeah.
So as he is leading you down the streets, lit by occasional bubbles of street lamps, you're not too far from where this building was. But as you are on your way there, he's just explaining. So I think you'll find when we arrive at the site that it might not look exactly like you'd expect, but that's because we've got some precautionary illusions up over the site. People know something happened there, but we would just as soon people stay away from it. So we've got some illusions up and some guards keeping it protected and try to make sure that nobody goes in because, as I'm sure you'll see, it is very much still active. It seems like it's contained entirely still by these strange glyph devices that were found at the scene, and we haven't messed with them too much because we don't want to break whatever it is they're doing and let that stuff out. But, what we have found in our investigations is that anyone who goes within the boundary is attacked by tendrils from the fungal mass, and which attempt to drag whoever or whatever it is into itself. And one of our personnel, a dragonborn named Kreln, had this happen to him, and he was being pulled in head first, and we thankfully had a safety line on him, and we were able to pull him out. But he had gone in up to his waist before that happened, and he said that as it pulled him in, there was a moment where his head seemed to emerge on the other side, and he saw an entire cave full of an enormous cave, he said, full of all sorts of strange types of fungus, and he saw chunks of the building in there, but not like it's just where the base of the building would have been. And there were lights, he said, but he didn't see much more than that because we pulled him out. And we haven't had anyone else volunteer to go in because he is, of course, there was still some acid damage that resulted from the process there. But that gives us some reason to believe, along with our Arcanist's best notes, that there is actually something happening there, that the fungus is not simply disintegrating what it pulls into itself, but rather transporting it. And then the fungus itself acting almost as like a sort of portal. And as you're getting close to the site, you do see what looks like a building that has had, those construction walls put up around the perimeter that are like all the way around it. And those are about 10 feet tall. And what you can see just past it looks like, a partially collapsed building, but no sign of fungus. But you can, as you're approaching, there's a couple of kids who are standing on the street throwing rocks up over the wall, and you're seeing the rocks just go right through what seems to be the wall of the building. And they're laughing until one of the guards sees them and shoos them away.
It's appropriate experimentation. They're going to be researchers someday.
Yeah, well,
but
as
why
long
are
as they
there
don't...
kids out at 3 a.m?
That's a good question. Perhaps we should go question their parents, do you think?
Well, we don't really have time.
Not
Yeah.
really relevant.
So, I'm told that you're the experts here, so I've been told to be at your disposal for whatever questions or information I can give you. I think if you have some, basic needs as far as gear, we might be able to help you out there, but we don't have anything fancy right now, and, we've been told to help you do your thing, so whatever that means is up to you, I guess.
Is the illusion right at the very edge of the effect, or is there space to stand on the other side of the illusion without being caught?
There is a little bit, but not much. If you see the construction walls, and he knocks on it, dunk dunk dunk. It's kind of like sort of a thin like plywood almost sort of wall. Says like those are real, but there's not much space inside them between the border of this warded area and not. And there's really only one spot, and he takes you over to a corner. And it's like you can see we've got kind of a little enclosure right there. That's kind of really the only place you could have a group of people stand inside the walls, but outside the stuff.
And the strange barriers are inside the illusion too?
Yeah. I mean, the illusion is really just, I mean, the walls are real, like these construction walls, but it's just meant to, people know something happened to the building, so it gives them a little bit of something to see that they don't investigate further, except kids when the night guards aren't paying attention.
And no one's been able to determine anything about these strange barriers.
Well, I mean, I didn't say that. We don't know exactly how they work. We haven't been willing to interfere with them, but we've had some of our arcanists study, and what they said actually is that the glyphs seem actually to be of celestial origin. From the the magic in them comes from the higher planes.
That's strange. Well, maybe I can take a look at them. Celestial is one of my extra languages for extra credit.
Okay, I mean, great, but I guess you're the expert, so maybe I don't need to say, don't break those things and let that fungus escape into the rest of the city, please?
I'm pretty sure that won't be necessary.
I'm going to help Nedry because I also speak Celestial.
Okay. Well, so they don't have like writing on them that you're going to be able to read, like this side up on it. They said that the nature, the energy signatures of the magic is from the upper planes, but you can look at them and make an Arcana check nonetheless. I'm just saying it's not like there's a bunch of writing on it that might be instructions that's just written in Celestial. That they probably could have arranged to find someone who spoke Celestial, but it's more just a matter of the enchantment on them seems to have originated from one of the upper planes.
Curious.
So if you move into that little enclosed area, he unlocks a gate and lets you through and says, "So do you need me in there, or?" I mean, I've
Unless
seen
you
that
think
stuff in
there's-
action. I'm not really keen to stand any closer to it than I have to, but obviously I'm here to.
I don't think that's really necessary. These guys are usually pretty good with this stuff, so
All right, well,
we don't want anyone to be in danger unnecessarily. So if you want to stand back.
all right, yeah. Well, I'll be just right outside here then. We'll keep the gate guarded so no one, interferes.
You mentioned something about tethers?
Well, I mean, we had used them. I mean, if you look in there, there's a couple of places where, and he shows, there's a couple of poles that they've got sunk into the like the sidewalk there, that were, designed to be anchors to run lines through. So it's just like a little pole in the sidewalk, almost like a parking meter or something, except it's just got a steel loop on the end, so you could run a line through it.
Okay.
Well, all right. Safety first.
And they'll cast mage armor. The little blue shield goes around him.
So I think once you're inside this little fenced-in area, the illusion is still there, but especially now that you've kind of been told to expect it and you're in a place where it's not necessarily optimized for, you can kind of squint. I won't make you make the checks, that you can all kind of see now that the illusion is sort of slightly translucent over what is now otherwise the footprint of the building, but now entirely leveled and just appearing to be a sort of fibrous, uh, moldy mass that's just completely flat where the building was.
So not necessarily so much a transition to a pocket plane, I think, but more of an open gateway. That does explain some of the power levels, although it does make it even more problematic potentially.
But
Any
what
thoughts?
is the likelihood of being able to walk back out? I mean, we'll probably have to find a way to close it and return the building to this plane.
Well,
Unless
I think the people
building
are
is-
probably the priority and not the building.
Yeah.
Well, I was just hoping that we could, shift everything back, including the people. But if that's not possible, we need to be
But-
able to figure out a way to get out and get everyone out.
They
Didn't
said
you
the building was in
It was
pieces.
in pieces, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a little more destructive than it, casually was. But
It doesn't give me much hope for the people.
One
Well,
of the
it
things
may-
that you one of the things that you may or may not recall about the building is that the structure of it had one tower which was of older construction and was very sturdy, like old stone tall tower that was perhaps like 5 stories tall. And then there was a more modern building that had kind of been built up around it that wasn't necessarily as sturdy, but was, a little bit more comfortable, less like just drafty and everything. And so most of the building was this more modern construction around it. But it was also, part of what's potentially disruptive to the building's structure was that it was being brought in little bits at a time, not all in one go.
it's, well, the Krell possibility does suggest that it might actually not have been intended as something which harmed the people there. If this is using the same sort of magic that the Zeld was using, for example, there's a lot of things that happen to trap someone. This may be another pocket trap that's been corrupted. The adversaries seem to be willing to use the magic, but every time he seemed to be part of it, it was corrupted somehow. They themselves were sort of a hideous mass of corruptions, which seemed to also make him happier.
Yeah.
He's a very strange person.
Yeah, I wish you guys could have seen him. It was disgusting. I mean, Percival Cankers lives up to his name now.
I think I'm going to keep calling him the adversary.
As you're standing there watching, you do see that there are a couple of tendrils that are sort of blindly probing up out of the mass in the general direction of like where you all are standing, but you see them sort of reaching out and then bumping up against the transition of this ward where they seem to just be utterly unable to penetrate it, but they're kind of reaching out only to be blocked by this field, whatever it is.
Did he say something about acid damage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we go in, I can cast aid on the three of you.
Yeah, there are resistance spells, but I'm not really fluent in some of them.
I
I would like to take a few minutes to examine the barrier and see if there's anything more I can glean magically from it. It'll take me about 11 minutes.
Oh, you're going to do identify?
Yeah, ritually.
Okay. All right. So Nedry begins that ritual. What are the rest of you doing in the meantime? Just stand there and watch him drawing little circles with chalk and stuff.
I
I'm
don't know
watching
about
the
this stuff, so
tentacles.
I'm counting in my head how many people that I think we might can save, because I don't know exactly how many people were in the building when it got attacked, but I know there was a lot that didn't follow me, so I'm hoping maybe that there's a lot we can save.
That Drew will pipe up. Depends on how many we can fit in the tower. When we can fit a lot in the tower.
Keeps drawing.
I'm watching those weird tentacles that sort of keep flashing in and out of view, and trying to remember our experience with them in the past, and like how we got away from them.
I don't think you were with us yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
she
were?
I was.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because it was the
Um,
whole estate
yeah.
thing that actually drew us there.
Yeah.
Well, so you had gone there to answer questions about what happened at the train station when you dug up the storybook.
Mhm.
Oh, right, right. It wasn't specifically about the academy.
Do we still have that really long rope?
No.
Unfortunately, Sequential had that on him when he left.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we should at least have some rope.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our friend can give us some.
the guards can provide you with rope.
Yeah.
Good.
It doesn't have to be special, just has to hold.
I have like a little, like a regular rope, but yeah, I'm just mostly trying to remember those and like how we dealt with them, and see if there's anything that I can prepare in the meantime. I'm looking through my notes. Just to see if I have it in here.
Yeah,
We
so
mostly ran away.
yeah, basically what had happened is that like you can see them, these tendrils, like right now they're not moving super fast. Like this is not a frenzied batting at the field. It's more like just a probing, like trying to see like, yep, still there, like a mime feeling the invisible wall, right? But previously what you had seen, for example, when the first fungus blob was sort of splattered in the room where you were, you attempted to stop its spread with a couple of different attacks and found that necrotic damage seemed to be most effective, but really only slowed it down. You found also that there was a point where one of the chairs looked as though you had cut it in half at an angle and then sat the cut side down on top of the fungus, like it was being brought in that way. Like it didn't climb up over the chair, that was like drawing the chair down into itself. And then when you saw the bigger parts, you did see it expanding to fill spaces. And you saw it reaching out with these tendrils that did try to grab you. And when it did, it gave you mild acid burns.
Okay.
Well, when I acquire rope, I think I should go about like we should tie ourselves together. And is one of those like anchor points
Mm-hmm.
like within this area that we're standing that's
Yeah. There's
free of
there's
tentacles?
two
Okay.
of them. Yeah.
Then probably secure it to that too.
Okay. All right. So you're all tied together. So your ritual, Nedry, you were doing identify, correct?
Yep.
Okay. What you have found is that without like describing like a specific spell or naming the item exactly, what you find is that this is a device that is designed to do pretty much exactly what it seems to be doing, which is keeping impure influences at bay. And it is designed to be like, so it what you learn is essentially that it is in fact doing what it seems to be, which is that when set up, like it has an area of effect, and when placed in series with others of its kind, it expands that area to correspond, and it is designed specifically to abjure extraplanar influences, and in particular, you find what they described for you already, which is that this in particular is a bit like a forbidden spell cast by a celestial to abjure fiendish incursions. And I'm not saying it's like specifically that spell, but it's a similar in that. So it basically does exactly what it says on the tin, so to speak. But in particular, it seems expressly designed by angelic entities to ward off fiend entities.
So it doesn't share any similarities to the Denetherian magic that we've seen
Correct.
at all.
It does not seem related to the Denetherian magic at all.
Well, that's very curious. It, there may be another player involved in this large, complicated game. If there are godly influences, well, a whole different spectrum of possibilities are there.
Well,
One of the things
I can
that I'm
think
not
of at
sure
least
about.
one that, wants to, that's like her thing is she wants to know everything about everything. Just saying.
Right, but this is more denial than knowledge.
Well, but if you're talking strictly involvement, that's what she does.
True. Maybe it'd be worth asking her if we have a way to.
I mean, if
But-
this is sealed away, she might want to know about it just as much as, some other people do. Maybe more.
One curious question which will be impossible to answer. Although if we recharge the temporal viewer, we might be able to stab away at it, is when these barriers appeared. They would not have necessarily seemed like anything at all when they were here beyond the influence. But if they appeared immediately after the influence, then that's one thing. If they appeared earlier, it suggests either foreknowledge or surveillance, I suppose.
That only works within a 6-hour window, though.
Well, like I said, it would be difficult to pinpoint the exact target. It also may have happened more than a year ago, too. I've lost track of time a little bit.
The incident at the building was less than a year ago. I think without actually adding it up, let's say it was a month.
It's more of that these things could have been set up more than a year ago, too.
Right, yeah.
So,
I'm just saying that, to establish the timeline, let's say it's been a month since that whole thing happened.
Whatever did create them, if we are able to close or repel whatever's on the inside, these barriers would be very useful in future containment. They might even help us with someone like Tanglefoot. Different kind of barrier. Although he's very tricky. Other preparations probably needed.
The one other thing I'll tell you that you learned is that you do have the ability to turn them on or off. However, you believe that if you were to turn any of them off, the area that it protects would now allow the fungus inside to spread. So, I'll leave the decision up to you, but you suspect that would be very dangerous.
oh, just immediately turn them off.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, even moving them might disrupt the pattern, which they've already established, so probably not best not to do that. They are effective, however.
We can kind of tell where the actual bearer is, where these tentacles are kind of
Yeah.
moving around as well.
I mean, you can see them pressing up against it, and it creates a little bit of a golden aura around them when they do.
Here's a weird callback for an item that I never expected I'd actually use, but I think it might work for a test in this particular case.
Okay.
Because I believe there's a sort of radius of effect. So he'll reach into the bag and retrieve a small little weird amulet. I forget even what it was looking like at that point. And then kind of place it around his neck and activate the fish amulet, which generates an illusion around someone of fish swimming.
Okay.
But I believe it had a certain radius of at least a foot or two,
Oh,
so that he can lean close to the barrier and allow the illusion to pass through to see if they react to it.
yeah. So I don't have the description handy, but I would say that it essentially, let's say it fills the 5-foot cube. You know what I mean? Like it,
Perfect.
fills your space almost like you're walking around in a little invisible aquarium.
I'm curious as to whether they are fooled or even aware of illusions.
Mhm.
So this might be a slightly dangerous thing to do, but it's probably going to teach us something.
Right.
And so he'll activate
I'm
the
going
weird
to make
illusion.
sure that the rope is tied very tightly to Nedry.
Okay, sure.
And just sort of lean closer to the barrier to
Right.
allow the
So
illusion
so
to
that
pass
the
through.
illusions pass through, but you don't yet.
That's right. That's right. To
So
see if they react to them.
the illusions do pass through, and so you can see them on the other side. The tendrils do not seem to react to them in any way.
Oh,
They,
well,
as
that's
you lean closer, though, more of them are going boom, 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 boom against the.
interesting.
Hmm.
So they're
Well,
reacting to you, but not the illusions.
The good bad news is that they aren't perhaps visual perceivers. The bad news is difficult to hide in other spectrum. Don't think I have anything that can do that.
I wonder if invisibility, if they can see invisibility.
Well,
No.
it may not be it because, like, I don't see any eyes. It might be something more like sensing heat. And I
Yeah.
don't
Life.
think invisibility masks that. Yeah, it could even be something like if these are bad things, like it senses the opposite or something.
Well,
I
if they are something like what Iseld and the others were making, it may be a trap specifically to contain life. Everything else can be destroyed or dragged through, but it would be attracted to and potentially try to gather life. That's a wild theory, but one we can test. Also, I'm very pleased to see that magic, at least some magic, can pass through the barrier undestroyed.
Oh
It
yeah.
may allow us to potentially travel faster.
So specifically, you know that what these word glyphs do is that they prevent items of fiendish influence, both fiend creatures and objects that are like imbued with fiendish energy, prevents them from passing through. That is literally all it does.
So obviously, what's inside is something fiendish.
Mhm.
That's what it would seem.
Well, at some point, guys, we just have to let the tendrils grab us and get pulled
Yeah.
inside.
well,
If
but if that's the case, would something like the thing that you do, Nedry, with the book, and you like touch a person to protect them,
Mhm.
that spell you do, would that work on something like this? Or would it prevent it from dragging that person in?
Well, it might inhibit them a bit, but it's not a perfect spell. They would have difficulty and there would be some protection given. Also, I can't protect more than one at a time. Not yet, anyway.
Now,
can-
before we go in there, I'm going to activate my force nodule
Okay.
just because I wanted to get that out there before we're in there and I forget to
Sure.
say it.
Sure.
So I'm using that. So I'm actually gonna, in my inventory, I'm gonna unequip it so I know that it's been used.
Okay.
Just so
Great.
we know that.
So remind us what that does.
That it gives me +1 to my AC and all saving throws for the next, like, till the end of today.
Great. That's one of your little Denutherian artifacts.
Yep. Yeah.
What I'm going to suggest is for the transition through, well, I'm fairly certain that the tower won't be destroyed by the process, which means that most people could ride through the tower in relative safety. But it does mean that someone will still have to be on the outside as usual,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that probably will be unpleasant.
Well, I just
Right.
gave the three of you 10 more hit points for 8 hours.
Oh, are they're not temporary, they're,
Yeah, this is aid.
They're real
So
aid. Yeah.
how do you add
you
it?
can adjust the maximum. I don't have it.
Is it override max HP?
I believe so. Yeah. Let's see. I can. My D&D Beyond is being slow for me right now, but I believe that's where you do it. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
It seemed to get to work. It doesn't matter. I'll write something down somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, so whoever is out, I can provide some protection to. But as I said, it's not perfect protection.
Do we want just one person out? I mean, what if that one person gets in trouble and then everybody else is just kind of like in the tower and
But they
Yeah.
can knock on the door.
Well, I mean, I
What if
want
they
to bring
can't?
I want to bring Buster out first, so he has a minute to get used to this. So I'm definitely going to be going through with Buster.
I'm not so sure that's a good idea. Buster is powerful, and I respect that. But he's also really dumb. And I worry that he would continue to try to assault the creature, and it would continue to consume him, much like he was almost consumed before.
Mm.
He's learning, I'll give him that, and you're teaching him as best as you can. But he's still not quite subtle enough. I certainly would appreciate the support if it comes to that, but I'm not so sure he would be ready for whatever we're planning to do. Not
Well,
yet, anyway.
That makes sense.
I think that if we're going to do it, two of us should at least be out just in case, because I know like you could just knock on the door, but what if something happens and the tower gets knocked away and you can't reach it? I mean,
Well, I can't protect more than one person.
well, it's okay. I will be one of the people. So whoever else it is, you can protect them. I can cast resistance on myself or whatever. It's fine. It'll be okay.
I was just thinking you need to get a doorbell cam for the tower.
Yes.
Sending stone on the inside and outside or something. Just hang the sending stone and a key outside. Press once to send a message.
Hey, I'm dead out here.
Well, I think I'll wait in the tower in
Mhm.
case something happens, just because I'm not as useful with like the investigating stuff. I'm really good at sneaking into places and talking to people, but I think maybe in
I'm
this
good at
situation, I'm
investigating.
not the most useful.
I'm pretty good at investigations and stuff. Not like the best, but I'm good at it. And so who else wants to come out?
Well, personally, I
think-
want to see what happens.
So me and you, Nedry.
And Carolina and I will be in the tower.
So protect you. I'm gonna cast mage armor on myself.
All right.
I seem to recall this didn't go as well as we hoped last time we did this.
We made it. We'll be
It
fine.
never does.
We didn't. I didn't cast mage armor on myself that day.
Oh, you've learned something new, I think.
No, I
think
knew
you
it
could do that
then. I
before.
just didn't. I did. I've always been able to do it. I just always forget about it.
Safety first. It was a
Yeah.
really good rule.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So I'm going to do that, and that brings my overall AC up to 16. And then when we're ready, I'm going to either cast guidance or resistance onto myself.
So I'm
I think I'm going to do,
you untie
resistance.
Carolina and Zinhorn from the ropes.
yeah.
Are you leaving the ropes tied to the anchor for those of you staying outside the tower?
Should we? I mean, that's one way to get back out right now.
At the
think
very
that's a good
least,
idea.
we'll have a
Yeah,
direction.
definitely. Yeah.
Actually, Nidder's going to take a moment to. The anchor is basically just a pole in the ground, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty
Okay.
sturdy, but like you
Yeah.
would imagine that if like someone could hang from it, right? Like if you imagine that it was on the edge of like a cliff, someone could hang from the rope over the edge, right? But it is also not like an immovable rod or something.
Right. Nedry's going to take the fish amulet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it has to be on you to be active. I don't know how long it runs.
I think
actually,
someone
it
has to
doesn't
be
really say.
wearing it.
Okay. Well, at least the fish amulet itself is a unique thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to wrap it around the pole
Okay.
and then attach a small little note saying, "Do not remove. Very important. Could be life or death."
Okay.
Yeah, that's the. Actually, no. Why not?
Do
I'll
your
use my
mouth.
once a day. I'll do the magic mouth.
Yeah.
So his little mouth will appear on the side of the pole and just kind of warn people: do not touch. Very important. Could be a matter of life and death.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you already prep your spells for the day?
Not yet.
Okay, bear in
yeah,
mind.
I have my
Oh,
spell
you
for the
did?
day. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because anything you have that does necrotic damage will be useful.
I don't really. I've never really studied that.
Okay, you never know.
I
only
I'm
have
trying
one.
to study them all, but it takes time.
Yeah, I only
I
have
only
one,
learned
but it's
after.
not a spell; it's a cantrip, so I can keep doing it as needed.
There was the potential of using the chromatic orb, but it's really hard to hit with. So
Yeah.
I decided it was probably better to have things to detect things.
Nedry will cast Protection from Evil and Good on Zaleen,
Okay.
and then being an abjuration spell, slap the book, the protective verses, expend one charge from that. No, actually, he won't use it
Okay.
because we already have temporary hit points. No, we don't have
No,
temporary hit
8
points. We
is
got
not
permanent,
temporary
right?
hit points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So he will use that and give. I can't even see the pop up. Where'd he go? 7 hit points to Zaleen. 7 temporary hit points.
Okay. Wow, that's the most hit points I've ever had.
And I just made my hit points 10. That's not right. There we go.
All right. The protection's only going to last for about 10 minutes, but it should help you a little bit. Like I said, it's not perfect.
Okay. And do you need anything before we go?
About 1,000 years to study, but
Okay, well, we'll get to that soon. But yeah, I'm ready if you're ready.
let's do it.
All right.
All right. So here's the question. These tendrils, you have seen them sort of lash out violently in the past. But that is when you were, obviously, for obvious reasons, trying to evade them. How are you handling this approach now, given that there's already a bunch of them like right up against where you have access to the field? Like, just trust fall backwards into them? What's the plan here?
The
I
Homer
was
in
just
the
gonna.
hedge.
I was actually gonna ask because Nedry discovered that magic can pass through that barrier. Can I cast Toll the Dead to sort of drive them back a little bit before we go through the barrier?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So they make a wisdom saving throw, is that right?
I think so. Yes.
All right. That's low. That's a 2.
Okay. So they take 1d8 necrotic damage.
Okay. Yeah, so several of the ones that are right there in the immediate vicinity sort of wilt and fall backwards, and there's a little bit of a sense of just a slight withdrawing from that immediate vicinity, but the ones around like more tendrils from further back start coming out, and they're lashing around more violently.
Okay. They took 6 necrotic damage too. by
Okay.
the way.
This is a big enough space that you're not going to kill it by tolling the dead.
No,
at
I
it.
know. I know.
Spam the button.
I know.
Spam the button.
I'm just saying, but yeah. So you've driven them back a little bit, but also like agitated them.
Okay. I guess we
don't-
just
It's not going to be beaten this way, unfortunately.
no, but I mean, I wanted them to move a little bit so we could at least like squish our way through.
At least a little ways. Let's go.
All right, into the horror.
Okay. So, as a result of their agitation, they are definitely flailing hard. So, Zaleen, I believe because of the protection against good or evil, they're going to have disadvantage against you.
Yep.
They rolled pretty well though, so that's still an 18.
Okay.
So you're going to take 6 bludgeoning damage and 5 acid damage as it grapples you and starts trying to pull you downward. Nedry.
I was going to use my my reaction to do hellish rebuke.
Okay. Go for it. Or do they make another dexterity saving throw, or? I think there's so much of it, like, and it's really all the same thing that there's no way to miss it. It's like it's all over you, right? So
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and roll it.
9.
Okay.
9 fire.
Okay. So you are attracting even more attention from these tendrils. Nedry, are you going in at the same time, or are you letting her kind of go first?
Observing.
You're seeing
at
them
first, but
definitely
not-
attack her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Zaleen, even though the one, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nope. That's it.
Okay. Even so, the one sort of had grappled you, but then when you burned it, more of them are attacking you now.
Okay.
And in your head, you'll hear Nedry say,
Can you describe how it feels? Do you feel like you're moving through anything?
So, you get sort of batted at by a couple of tendrils, but there's a couple of them where they seem almost minorly deflected away from you as they try to batter at you. But the one that has you grappled, as long as you're not trying to break that grapple, is still sort of pulling you downward. And at least right now, you seem to be going in sort of feet first. And it's a little bit like you're in sort of like shin deep mud right now.
Okay, I will say that to Nedry, like in my head, and follow it with, should we just let them pull us?
It doesn't seem that your way is working any better, so that might be the best.
Well, I mean, it'll take us where they took everything else, I'm assuming. So just let them pull us down.
I think so.
and he'll
Okay,
step it through and follow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop like resisting and then just let them like sort of draw me downward.
Okay. So they're still pretty agitated when you step through, Nedry, so they get a 24 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to take 6 bludgeoning damage and 5 acid damage.
Okay.
and
It
you
bounces
are
off the
grappled
shield.
too. So 24?
Sorry?
A 24 to hit? It bounces off the shield?
No, it's rather, sorry, it's absorbed by the
By
his
your-
barrier.
yeah,
That's what I
okay.
should have said.
Sure. So, but you are grappled and it starts pulling you down. Zaleen, as you stop struggling, they stop like flailing at you and just kind of wrap around you almost like plants in time lapse, right? And they're coiling around you and curling and pulling you down, down, down. But here's the thing, even though for the most part, just you're kind of sinking in to this stuff and it's got you like to the waist now, it is burning a little bit still. You're going to take another 6 acid damage.
Okay.
But as you're getting in there about up to your waist, you feel suddenly one of your feet seems like it has sort of like come out and is in open air again.
Nedry will think at the tentacles.
Okay.
Do you have a name?
you don't get anything back.
Okay.
All right.
I think you tried that before.
I may have, yeah. He
Yeah.
always tries that.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
One day he's going to get a, yeah.
hey. All right.
Yeah.
Keep rolling high on these d6s. So, Nedry, as you are getting pulled down you're going to take another 4 points of acid damage.
Okay.
And now each of you, as you stop struggling, is just getting pulled on through, and each of you. Zaleen, there's another 6 points of acid damage for you, and another 2 points for you, Nedry. But that's the last of it, because Zaleen, it happens to you first because it started on you first, but increasingly you feel your feet, hanging out, and then as more and more of your legs emerge, there's an odd sensation where above the fungus, you feel though you're being pulled down, like you're sinking into mud, but on the other side of this membrane, it's like gravity goes down, or to the side. So you're feeling your legs like hanging down, even though, like, hanging to the side of where you would have expected gravity to be. And then as more and more of you kind of passes through, eventually you there's enough of you out that you kind of slide out with a squelch and find yourself skidding down like a steep, slimy slope. And Nedry emerges soon after, and the two of you are on kind of like a steep hillside that is just coated with goopy muck that is mud, but it smells terrible. It's kind of like decay and slime and mold, right?
Yep.
But even as though that takes most of your attention, as the two of you kind of slide to a stop where it levels out a little bit and you're sort of just sitting in this foul-smelling goop, you look up around you and you appear to be in an enormous cavern with a ceiling that is perhaps hundreds of feet high, and it extends to be farther than you can see, and there's an enormous forest of titanic mushrooms and all sorts of manners of fungus in here, and there's light to see because a lot of this fungus seems to be phosphorescent and is glowing in strange blues and greens and purples, and it extends over the ceiling too, creating almost an effect of stars, although you realize that some of those are not even on the ceiling, but rather glowing spores that are just drifting throughout the air.
Well, this might be the most disgusting way to travel, but at least the destination is interesting.
You realize that the goop that's kind of covering all of you and it got slime all over, it actually still feels like it's burning a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to.
You can take an action to try to get most of it off of you. Like it might be a little bit left, but to get where you're just not coated with it anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe grab my water skin and dump it on myself.
Yeah.
And try to wash some of it off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Carolina has a spell for this. Maybe we should fetch them.
Okay.
I think you're still holding the tower.
Okay.
It's yours.
Yeah.
So Zaleen cleared off the goop off of herself. Nedry, if you did not take an action to do so, you're going to take another 5 acid damage.
Oh, he'll try. Probably more with mage hand than his actual hand.
All right. Yeah. So I'm using an action is the point.
Okay.
So, but you bring out the tower, and
Yep.
so you have someone just step inside, or
I just pop in and I'm like, you guys can come out.
yeah. So yeah, you see Nedry come in, or excuse me, Zaleen come in, and she is just like completely slimed and covered in this kind of gross, slightly greenish, dark muck.
Oh, is that like all of that out there?
No, we went through the tentacles.
Ugh. Well, let me help you, and I'm gonna prestidigitate her a little bit.
Thank you.
I
Because
mean,
that's
it
gross.
takes a little while to do like all over the person. I mean, it's one thing to do like a little stain, but like if you want to completely clear her, I mean that would take a couple of minutes.
Well, probably as we walk, I'll just like poof, poof, poof.
Nedry's got it too. So
Actually, Nedry looks perfectly fine. The blue glow
Oh.
around him is very dim, but it's still there.
Well,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I think what would happen is that this slime, like even if it wasn't like burning you, it would still be coating you, right? Because if you think about it, like if you're wearing a rubber glove, that keeps it from getting on your hand, but it doesn't keep it from getting on the glove.
Well, it's eating away at the ward. It's there to prevent damage.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
It literally eats damage. It's kind of weird, but
okay, but I think what that's doing is what I'm saying is, let's say you have a rubber glove that protects you from acid slime, okay? If you stick your glove in the slime, there's still going to be slime on the glove. And it's
but he took a
successfully-
moment to clean himself off, right?
Okay, but it's like you okay.
it
I'm
was still
saying you're
covered like when I
messy
went in.
is the point. You
Yeah.
have removed the bulk of it, but you are not clean, is my point.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to get at. There's streaks and smears and such. And not
No
to mention the
longer
fact
being-
that you're still standing in, about 6 inches worth of the stuff. I think you could actually move if you want. There's not too far where you can get like a little bit up to higher ground where you're not like in a puddle of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean he's short. That 6 inches is a long way, so he would want to not
Yeah.
stand in that for long.
Yeah.
So are we ringing Buster?
Yeah, let's bring Buster. Now
Okay.
that we're inside.
All
What's
right.
it like out there first? There's like
Gross. It stinks. It's disgusting. It's slimy, but it's really pretty. It is. It's really pretty.
All right. Let's go see.
All right.
I'm going
So-
to take a scarf out of my bag and kind of wrap it around my nose and mouth a little
Okay.
bit. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready, let's go.
So as Zaylene reemerges with Carolina, Zinhorn, and Buster in tow, you all see this strange place that you have emerged in now. And I think what you find is that although that muck smelled really bad, once you sort of get away from that pool, that little like mudslide a little bit, the air is still full of all manner of different strange, unfamiliar smells, but not all of them are quite so obviously reeking of decay like the slime was when you first came through.
Oh, good to see you. It's a little disgusting. Don't step there. What do you see? I'm curious as to what your impressions are. I have a theory, and I'm wondering whether you'll confirm it.
So I see mushrooms and lights and glowing spores,
Mm-hmm. Good.
and that's what I see.
Okay. Carolina, how would you describe it?
Kind of the same. It's a big, giant cave.
Accurate. So, here's my theory. It's based on scant evidence, but it is interesting. And I'm starting to think in different terms about some of these things. I think, well, the exact origins are difficult, but given that it's one of the few that we've actually encountered, I'm thinking that this may be either a corruption, a copy, or maybe the actual original of something that Salter created. It's a natural space, very large, but not actually inherently dangerous. It has an ecosystem. Things are here to live. There's light, and one could actually find a comfort here. I have a feeling that either by neglect or by corruption, it's been changed. Not that everything of these is necessarily tied back to Tillither and her friends, but it does seem like a lot of it might be. And if the adversary is behind this, he's basically been on the same trail that we have, but perhaps for longer, and would have found some things like what we have. Most of them so far created by Rupino, but I suspect that any one of them were powerful enough to create incredible things.
Well, I didn't talk to him for very long, but I got the impression that the druid that we met in the Eternal Waltz, is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I got the feeling that him and his friends didn't like if they used those magical rituals, they also paid their prices. So that wouldn't like his magic wouldn't have been corrupted.
But he left it behind. He left everything behind. And whatever he left behind would be there to find and potentially be used by others. In this case, the adversary, who is very corrupted.
It's true. I mean, he is. I don't even know what to call him anymore.
Well, I mean, for all we know, we're in some little pocket dimension that was just like always there. Was it necessarily created by anyone specific? I mean,
Possibly.
like you have like you know, the plane of fire, and this is just like that, and it just exists. Only this is maybe a smaller place, or maybe we just went through a little doorway to a big place. I don't know where we are.
So, while this is happening, Buster is very perplexed by this strange place. He's kind of, pacing around a tight perimeter around you, growling at various mushrooms, and occasionally like raising his head to kind of sniff the air, and then eventually one of the spores that looks large enough to like be visible, he kind of snirks it up his nose and then he looks over at you and kind of whines.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
So you wanted to come.
Do you say that
Tug on the rope?
to Buster?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do we see any sign of other people being here?
Make a perception check. You may make
Can
it
Nedry
with
tug on the
advantage
rope to
because
see if
I'm
it's-
sure you're all looking.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how much extra slack had you left on the rope? Because I'm assuming you had at least 25, 30 feet. Because
Mine was 50. My rope was 50 feet.
Okay. Well, just because you slid down the slope a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So I think you can certainly look upwards and follow the rope up to that, up to where there's looks just like a cave wall from here. But the rope seems to just kind of go into sort of a dark patch on it.
How far away is the rope? Like, could we touch it from where we are? Like, touch that wall?
So my understanding is that you are literally still tied to the rope,
Okay.
right? So it's around you and trails up to the wall. It's just
Well, that's
in
what I
kind of a
mean. Like,
shadowy
can I
spot.
reach the wall from where I am, or
Well,
do I
you
need
slid
to
down a slope. You would have to climb back up that sort of muddy, slimy.
Okay.
But but you could use the rope to do that probably.
I might suggest we tie the rope to the tower.
Yeah.
Seems unlikely they're not likely to move that much.
Is there enough room to like make the tower its full size?
There is. I mean, there's a couple of places where you imagine some of the local fungi is going to be disrupted, you might say. But certainly there's it's tall enough here, and you can find an area that's level enough that you can imagine that nobody will mind if a couple of these waist high mushrooms get smushed.
I'll apologize to them as I make the tower bigger.
All right.
Sorry, little mushrooms.
I got a 14 on my perception check.
Okay. As you are peering around, mostly what you're seeing is this previously mentioned forest of quite a diverse array of entirely unfamiliar and largely all gigantic mushrooms, funguses, and molds, and so on, and spores. But you do spot a little further down in the same like direction that you sort of slid in. You can see a little further down. Continues to slope downwards a little bit, not quite so steeply, but there's almost, you could almost call it a path that seems down there, and you see at the far end there, you see above some of the vegetation there looks to be some regular structures of that look like they might be chunks of wall or something that are kind of just sticking out enough, and they're regularly shaped enough, meaning like straight lines and angles and so on, that they stand out. So you have a direction to go, but it's a couple of 100 feet away.
But no, like other footsteps.
No, you
In the
don't see anything
squishy-
like that.
yeah, okay.
But the ground here doesn't look like it would really leave tracks very well. It's very like mostly what you're walking on is this like fibrous sort of mesh of various tendrils that is probably, you would guess, at least several inches deep, if not more.
I'm gonna tie the
Yes.
rope to the tower, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna take a minute to sort of climb back up the slippery gross.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
Well,
Oh, that's enough. That's enough because you have the rope to aid you. As you get back up to the top, you can see that the rope seems to be like there's a surprisingly small area of this wall that is like, it looks like it's rock, but maybe with thin patches of lichen grown in irregular shapes around on it. But one of these areas is a bit sort of darker in color. It looks a little bit wet, but it's surprisingly only about like 4 feet diameter in a sort of approximate circular shape. But the rope trails up to about the center of that and seems to just go right into it.
okay.
If you move the rope a little bit, you can see it sort of squishes around where it's clearly going through this.
All right. I will
I think
back
one
down.
of make a perception check.
And
You notice right around the hole where it is that there's little bits of rope that seem like they're fraying a little bit, and you realize that although this is a very sturdy rope and it certainly can hold all of your weight just fine right now, it is maintaining a continuous proximity to this acidic slime, which it will probably not last forever.
right. Okay. I will slide back down and relay that information to everybody. Just kind of be like, we kind of
Yeah.
don't have a lot of time if we want to get back out the way we came in.
With a 10, you have no real way to estimate how long. You know, it seems okay for now, but unknown how much longer.
Well, then we should get moving. Down that way, there's some looks like pieces of buildings. So I think that's probably the way we should go.
And you're not in any immediate danger now, Zaline, so I'm going to let that spell drop because I have another theory to test.
Okay.
And Medri will let the spell drop and cast Locate Object.
Oh, okay.
He wants to see if he can find a
I was gonna
midnight
do
stone.
that.
A midnight stone. Okay.
Because they're often used to power realms like this, as we found out before.
Yeah. Go ahead and make. Well, no, hang on. So what's the range of it? It's like 1,000 feet, right?
Yeah, 1,000-foot radius, essentially.
Okay. I think. Yeah, I don't think you sense anything here.
Okay. It lasts for 10 minutes. I don't know how much ground we'll cover in that
Sure.
time, but
Well, we're gonna hurry.
Well, before we like start rushing forward as we're moving, I'm gonna cast detect traps like as we near that pathway just to make sure that like if there are people down here, they didn't trap it to like
Okay.
protect themselves.
Sure. Okay. I think if if it doesn't detect any, you just don't get anything, right?
Right.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So you don't detect anything like traps as you're moving down this path. However, there is a point where the path starts to emerge into a slightly wider sort of clearing. Like there's a big sort of clump of this fungus vegetation, almost like trees and bushes, like that size, in the center of this clearing. But you can go around it on either side, and it joins up again. That's on your way, but you stop because as you are coming into close to this clearing, you spot ahead of you what appears to be a woman just standing perfectly still in the clearing. You are still, I'll say, like 60 feet away, and it's dim light.
So humanoid, but not necessarily human. Can't tell yet.
Correct. You don't really have that level of detail, but it appears to be a feminine humanoid shape.
Should we go make friends?
Let's
You're
go
good
make
at that.
friends.
I am going to start cautiously approaching.
Sure.
She might be freaked out.
Yeah. Is everyone coming along?
I will move forward, and when I'm about 40 feet away, I'm gonna do Eyes of the Grave.
Okay. Uh, Eyes of the Grave tells you if there are undead or other things. Just undead.
Undead.
Okay. You don't detect any undead.
Okay, good.
But as you do get closer, at first it feels a little bit like your eyes are playing tricks on you, because what you realize you're looking at is not in fact a woman. It's like a plant or a fungus of some kind that seems to have grown in that shape. And you're still about 30 feet away when you can tell that like it is just standing perfectly still, and you can see now that you're closer, like it has a very obvious humanoid shape to it, but what you can see up close is that it is, you're not seeing like actual clothing or actual arms and legs, but rather fungus grown in the shape of like a humanoid statue.
That's
So the
good.
silhouette is perfect, but when you can see more than the silhouette, it's obvious.
And once again, Nedry will kind of turn in that direction as his eyes are kind of everywhere, trying to sense
Mhm.
everything, but kind of like furrow his brow and send a thought to it.
Do you have a name?
Gosh, hang on, let me just check something real quick.
Yeah, at 30 feet, I'm stopping once I've realized that this is like a plant shaped.
Nedry's slower, so he's not really caught up, but he's not really stopping either. He's
Yeah.
sort of like
Range. Gotta find.
I'm gonna yank the back of his his cloak there.
Nedry, you don't get anything like words back. But I think that there's a moment where you feel briefly overwhelmed with just the raw sensation of hunger. And that's the answer you get. And
Whoa.
then all of you see this figure move towards you. And we're rolling initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am
Not a
going
friend.
to put you all on the map here. We have a Roll20 map. Let me, and we'll get you.
Oh my god.
Ooh,
I'm rolling
it's all roll
terrible
ones.
today.
Let's all roll ones just to make it really confusing. Oops.
You cheated.
I got a 10.
19.
Okay.
Oops, I didn't select myself. Where is
Oh, yeah.
myself? Myself is not on the map. Oh, there I am.
Don't forget to roll for Buster.
Oh, yes. So I'm
Okay.
controlling Buster now, am I?
Are you?
To make it easier for you.
Oh, well, I mean, I think Paul had before, but you guys can divide it up however you like.
Want to roll for? You want to take care of Buster?
Yeah, I can, because I don't have a lot to do otherwise. So, and I know it was
Okay.
getting kind of annoying for you. I don't seem to have control over either Buster or myself, though.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't either.
All right, fine,
Well,
fine,
over
fine. Just
myself.
give me a moment. Why doesn't it save this?
Yeah, it doesn't attach it to the token, but it does attach
Well,
it to the
but you
copy of
can't.
the token.
You can it lets you tell it to save. It just doesn't succeed in doing so. I think it doesn't work on different map layers. Like once I save it here, and if I were to to do it on this map again, it would work. But I think when I go to different maps, it doesn't work. Okay, so that a little tracker here in Roll20, we still need, there we go, we need Zaleen and Zinhorn initiatives on there.
It's not letting me enter a
Okay.
number.
It wouldn't let me use my number pad. I had to use the line of numbers above the letters. It's weird.
There we
Never
go.
had to do that before. It's weird.
All right. So, you have seen, Nedry, it move. And once again, now that you're closer and now that you're seeing it move, it's obvious that there are not. So it has these sort of lacy, fibrous membranes that hang down almost like a dress that would reach the ground, but it's obvious to you that there are not legs, humanoid legs moving under this thing. It is scuttling forward on like tendrils. And it is moving a bit slow, but does seem to be heading in your direction. However, as things stand right now, it is your turn.
Okay. I don't think it's that smart. I think it's quite probably going to try to consume us.
And let's see. Yep, that's plenty of range. So he will draw a little snowflake and cast a ray of frost
Okay.
at it. That is, oh, that's an attack. Okay. Oh, that probably hits.
Mhm.
Its speed is reduced by 10.
Well, so you said it probably hits, but and I don't disbelieve
Or
you.
sorry,
but
27 to
Okay,
hit.
yeah, that'll hit for sure.
5 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10.
Okay.
And then Nedry will kind of skirt around and let's see here. Do move around.
Okay.
Are there any particular, like the landscape is beautiful?
Mhm.
There are some trees, or some fungus ahead of us. Are there any other barriers or obstacles we should be aware of that?
Yeah, more or less where you can see what look to be like the overgrown trees and everything, say that that's dense enough that it would be difficult to retreat in those directions.
Okay.
Like you were kind of following this path, and it's like you could probably clamber your way through there, but it is not clear enough for you to just run that way. You would have to like be climbing over things.
Fair enough.
Okay, Carolina, your turn.
Why can't it ever be a friend? Just gonna make sure I didn't take. Yeah, we'll go with. I think we'll go with that. How did Nedry's spell seem to go? The freezing ray.
Yeah, so like you saw part of the, this strange fungus shape sort of freeze and grow brittle, and then kind of crack and flake away, leaving sort of like a little crater there.
Okay.
It's
That
yeah.
seemed to work.
Mhm.
So I'm going to cast freezing spears because I have never done this one before,
Oh.
and we're gonna try this.
Oh, freezing spears. This is, just for anyone who is unfamiliar, this is a flavored spell that we did for our Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. It's essentially, wow, what's the fire spell where you have three fire beams that you send out. I'm suddenly blanking
Scorching
on
ray.
Scorching ray. Yes. So this is essentially scorching ray, but cold damage instead of fire damage.
All right.
So you
So
make three
three
attack
magical
rolls, I believe.
spears.
Yeah.
So it's a 18.
18 will hit.
So do I have to do that 3 times?
Yeah, you
Okay.
roll for each one.
Okay.
But it
Alright.
also, you can target more than one thing, right? Like you can.
Well, there is only one thing right now, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why you roll 3 times.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Yeah.
That one, the second one was an 11.
will miss, yeah.
And a 17.
17 hits, so 2 of those will hit.
Woohoo. So 5. And another 5. Is that
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so you do another 10 damage to it, and it's definitely looking rough now. It's it's several parts of it are kind of like crumbling and brittle looking now.
That also reduces the movement speed by 5 feet, and the reduction effect stacks.
Yeah, so so it stacks like each one does it.
It says the movement reduction effect can stack and is removed at the end of the target's next turn.
Okay. Well, so
That's all it says.
I'll say between the 2 attacks, so I'll say each beam does 5 feet. You hit twice, so that's 10. And then on top of Nedry's 10 from Ray of Frost, you have briefly frozen this thing to its spot.
Sweet.
Okay. Anything else for your turn?
Nedry went over that way, so I think I'm gonna stay here.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay here for right now.
All right. Zinhorn.
I am going to move up, and I'm within 15 feet, and I'm going to hit it with my breath weapon.
All right.
It needs to roll a dex with a DC of 14.
Okay. And let's see. Is it going to go into roll 20? Should. There we go. It accidentally rolled twice, but yeah, it definitely fails.
Okay. And I got 15 points of damage.
Yeah, you annihilate it. It is completely obliterated by the impact of your lightning breath.
Yay.
Just blasts it apart.
That was pretty cool. See what it did there.
All
So
right.
I don't know what it was, but it did express a lot of hunger. So it's entirely possible that this forest has been.
We are still in initiative. I'll point out.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Ed, do you do anything else as you finish your turn, or
Can I see anything else?
not at the moment? Although what you're seeing is a lot of dense, unfamiliar, alien-looking fungus.
No, I guess I'll just be ready.
I mean, you don't still have your action, right? I mean, the breath weapon
No.
was your action, right? Yeah.
No, but nope, I do not have an action, so
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. So I think in this context, without an obvious target, Buster would probably kind of investigate where that was, but doesn't have anything
Yeah,
to
no,
attack.
That was exactly what I was thinking. Like try to charge forward, then snuff the ground.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Oh, technically, you know what? I take that back because something else should happen before he would have his turn. Actually,
Right.
Is
Yeah,
that
it's got a very low initiative.
yeah? There's a couple. Well, I know a lot, everything you're up against also did. You can see now in a couple of places around this clearing, there are parts of this fungus that seem to be sort of vibrating and trembling and then standing up. And 3 big, sort of like still vaguely humanoid in shape, but hulking mounds of moss and fungus kind of stand up around the perimeter of this clearing. And what do they do? They are just going to start shuffling in your direction. This one, two, yeah, it moves up to about there. They do seem to be hurrying at their maximum pace. This one, I think it could get all the way up to you, Zinhorn, here, but it used its dash to do that. So it's hurrying towards you, but it only gets up to there before it, and it's not able to attack this round. So now it would be Buster's turn, and there is a thing that seems to be charging at Zinhorn. So that's,
Yep. Yeah. So it would be kind of like was going to run out towards the thing that jump bite.
Yeah.
Or sorry, slash bite.
Yeah.
I guess
should be one like that to not overlap the
Oh,
squares.
sure.
But that's all right.
I got enthusiastic.
Yeah.
It's probably a miss with one
a
of the
10
claws.
misses. Yeah. An 18 will hit.
And then jumpity jump.
Okay.
Holy
And the
moly.
25 will also hit. So I think ordinarily you want to roll the bite first, because if it succeeds in knocking the thing prone, then it gets advantage with the claws.
Fair.
I'll let you. I'll let that bite roll stand, and then you can roll once more. We can say that 10 and 18 is the. Okay, if it goes prone, then we'll see. But okay, so it's going to make a strength save, but the first thing that happens, 24 piercing, huh? Yeah, he definitely gets a big chunk of it. But I think as you watch, though, as soon as that's happening, as soon as he's chomping into it, it kind of shivers and goes, and a cloud of spores emerges from it. And I need Buster and Zinhorn to make Constitution saving throws. Okay, yeah, that 21 is going to succeed from Buster. The 6 from Zinhorn will not. So, Zinhorn, you are currently poisoned for 1 minute. I'm going to put a little green dot on you. So, and now it will make a strength saving throw against being knocked prone. It fails. So, Buster pulls it prone, and we can say that 18 is the hit for the first claw attack.
Okay.
So is that the 9? And see, I don't know how the D&D Beyond, the way it looks there, it's 9 slashing and 8 bludgeoning. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
If the target is prone.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, that's right. So that's what it does. And wait, so it does it. It would be advantage, and it does the extra damage. Yeah. So okay. Okay. So yeah, he is reducing this thing quite rapidly to lesser, less than total success. So it gets to make one more claw attack at advantage. Yeah, that's going to do it, and he tears this thing to shreds as well. But yeah, there you go. So that one is destroyed.
I half expect it's more like digging at this point than it is attacking.
Yeah, and he's just like, it's broken into pieces, and I think Buster is confused because it's not like because it's not like a body. There's no like blood or guts or bones or anything. It's just like it was just like a big mush. But the clouds are and start to kind of dissipate. Okay, that's Buster's turn. Zaleen, it's your turn.
My Eldritch Blast those two.
Okay. I believe you are, yep, within 70 feet of one and 75 feet of the other. Are you
13 and a 19.
Are they both against one or one against each?
One against each.
Okay. So 13 and 19 both hit. So that's 8 force damage against one and 5 against the other.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Then that's my turn.
All right. So, now more of the little bits of fungus begin to sort of shiver to consciousness. And let's, hang on, I have to select the right layer. And you see more of the ordinary, like humanoid-sized ones start to shiver awake and start to move. But something surprises you in their behavior this time, because rather than lumbering towards you like the big ones did, you see them emerging, but then, you know, it was already invoked in the previous discussion, but they kind of seem to step back into the walls of fungus around them, and they emerge all around you. So, hang on. I have to drag them down to where I can put them in the right places. Wait, hang on. Sorry, they can only go 60 feet when they do that. Yeah. Okay, so. Bloop. 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 All right. So I think a couple, these ones that were closer are able to kind of emerge like this. Then I think these other ones are able to walk a little bit closer too. So some of them can't get all the way to you, but we'll deal with the ones that could here right now. So, Nedry, the one that emerges right next to you, is going to it injects a puff of spores right in your face, and you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 19.
19 is a success. You are not poisoned by these spores. Carolina, one of them. Let's see. Hang on. 10-foot radius. Yeah. So both of the. So one of them is doing the same thing to you. So please make a Constitution saving throw. Seven. Okay, yeah, as you are taken by surprise and these spores sort of like poof out at you, and you inhale them without being able to like focus for a moment, you are now also poisoned. But this poison, you are not merely having the poisoned condition, but you are incapacitated, because
Oh, great.
as you breathe in these spores, suddenly everything around you starts swimming and like giving off like light trails, and suddenly as you look around, you've lost all comprehension of like how far things are away from you, and you're just very disoriented, and your hands look amazing.
That completely negates everything I was going to do. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Totally Selther's fault.
Yeah.
You're tripping.
And then the other one, seeing that you're incapacitated, moves past, and here is going to shiver and give off like a different color of spores in a 10-foot radius circle around it. So hang on, let's see. 10-foot radius. 10-foot radius is an awkward shape for this type of battle map, right? You know, because like which square is it centered on, right? You know, but it'll work out. So both Zaleen and Carolina need to make another Constitution saving throw.
Awesome.
3.
Okay.
Oh, natural 20.
Okay, so you are still affected by the hallucinations, but you do not. I think you are momentarily holding your breath in shock at all these things you're seeing, and you don't inhale these other spores, and you're able to kind of resist those as your body is already kind of trying to deal with that. But Zaleen, let's see. All of a sudden, your skin starts feeling really itchy. Like you are not otherwise affected. Like you're not mechanically affected in any other way at the moment, but you just feel itchy all over. Okay. And I'm going to put a little dot on you as a result.
Okay.
This will be the purple one. And then pink will be for Carolyn's hallucinations. Okay. So that you resisted that first check against the spores, Nedry. So that is what happens on their turn. So Nedry, it is your turn again.
No. Let's see.
I think that kind of knowing the spores are there, his mouth is clamped shut, but his mind is going active.
The ones that in the circle, the green circle here, are lingering. The other ones are not.
Okay. So he's kind of thinking towards the nearest one, which is the one right in front of him. You may be hungry, but I'm not food. We're not food. Not food. Trying to insist. Yeah, everything's a ranged attack. I think he's going to take the dodge action.
Okay.
Actually, sorry. No, the
I was going to say a dodge won't help you against a puff of spores that makes you make a Constitution saving throw.
well, I think no, it's Constitution save anyway. Yeah, no. No, why am I drawing a blank? Disengage. That's what I want.
Okay, disengage. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we can't get the opportunity attack.
Mm-hmm.
And okay.
Where are you moving to?
Not really in a good place to go, but that's okay. Gonna do it anyway. Let's see. How far can he move? Not a lot. I think he's going to kind of dodge around. Oops. Let's see. Buttons. Let's see. Stand by Zinhorn. There you go.
Okay. All right. Carolina, did you have any bonus actions or anything?
No.
Okay. Carolina, you now may make an attempt to shake off these hallucinations.
Is that another Constitution
Yeah.
saving throw?
Mhm.
Yeah, this will go well, I'm sure. Oh, 15.
Okay, yeah, so you are able to shake that off, and you are no longer afflicted by you kind of regain your senses a little bit. And you've already managed to resist this other cloud of spores you're in here, but otherwise you're still kind of surrounded by
anything.
these things.
Just kind of going, wow.
Yeah, that was the end of your turn, is that you kind of like, huh? Oh, shoot. But that was your turn. Okay, Zinhorn, it is your turn. You're muted.
I am going to use my breath weapon
Okay.
on the one down and to my left that was engaging Nedry.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to roll a Dex 14 check.
Okay. It will probably not succeed. That's my guess. We'll see. It does not. It got a 10.
Okay. I do 10 points of damage.
Okay. Yeah, and your lightning again is just like it crackles and sizzles, and like big whole just chunks of it sort of just slough off. You know, it no longer has its pleasing feminine figure because you have, fried off pieces of it. But it's still moving.
Okay. And I am going to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay. Let's get that hammer.
And I'm going to cast it at 4th level.
I know why I know what I was doing wrong with why you didn't have control over your tokens. Is because I dragged the token over, not the player, so to speak.
Ah.
All right. Okay. Should have control over the hammer. Place it where you like.
Okay. Yes. I am going to put it right there.
Okay.
Trying to think. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to put it here. Let's finish one off first. And this is a disadvantage because I'm poisoned. I got a 14.
A 14 does hit.
Woohoo! And that will be 14 points of damage.
All right. Yeah, you just clobber this thing, and it just breaks apart into pieces. And now you may make another Constitution saving throw to see if you can shrug off the poison.
All righty. I cannot. I rolled a 6.
Okay. You remain poisoned, alas. Also, technically, I think the Constitution saves... Are saving throws also at disadvantage when you're poisoned? I don't remember. Might just be ability checks and attack rolls. But
No,
in any case...
attack rolls and ability rolls.
Okay, so saving throws are still good. All right, but I think what you notice as you're looking over in that direction, kind of trying to, blink away the slight, blurring of your eyes that you're feeling at the moment, is that you see in the shrubbery that was disrupted by, the bits of your lightning breath that went past it, you see another sort of mound of fungus sort of start to struggle up out of the ground, and there is another creature there, unlike any of the ones that you've seen so far. A monstrous thing with claws, but it looks very much like this is a creature that has fungus growing on it, whereas the other things seemed to be made of the plant matter, or fungus matter rather, because plants and fungus technically different things. But the point being, this looks like a creature that has been entirely infected with spores and fungus that are like growing out of its body. But it is now its turn, and it is going to, I think, hurry off over in your direction, Zinhorn, since you're kind of the one. You know what? I think actually, just looking at the shape of the map here, I think it would actually go after Zaleen. Wait, so 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it can get there. But it also has a reach of 10 feet. So it is going to try to pincer attack you, Zaleen.
Okay.
It gets a 19 to hit.
Yep.
And it does... Why is it rolling everything twice? I don't know. Oh, I see. No, it didn't roll twice. So it got a 19 to hit, and it does 13 bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled.
I'm in a hellish rebuke.
Okay. It makes a dexterity saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
It got a 19.
Ah!
Does it mean it
Does
takes
it take half damage?
Well,
Let me check.
you tell me. I don't remember. I think it
Yep.
probably does. So
Yep.
25 is pretty good. So it's still going to take 12.
Okay, good.
But it's got you grappled, and it's going to try to hit you with the other pincer.
Okay.
But it gets a critical miss there, I think, perhaps because it's distracted by why it's suddenly burning.
Aha.
Okay. So now we've got these other two big fellas trundling towards you more. 3, 4. Shoop, 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 shoop. And that's as far as they can get. They're slow. But now it is Buster's turn, and all manner. It's a target-rich environment now.
Yeah, I think he's distracted by the big one, but then the other ones start shambling in. So it's like, oops, as he gets too close. And we'll attack after the big guy.
Sure.
Let's see. So bite first. That probably misses.
11 does miss, yeah.
Okay. And claw strike, 16.
He snaps at it, only getting like a couple of the little mushroom caps sticking off the end of its arm. A 16 does hit, and it does the 13
slashing. And,
yeah. And then a 13 just hits. So.
Oh, another 13 damage too.
Yeah. And so it is pretty substantially damaged by that, but not completely torn apart like the last time. However, it does poof out spores again, so Buster does need to make another Constitution saving throw.
12?
A 12, I think, is just success. Yeah, that's just barely a success. Actually, he needs to do it for once for each attack, because every time he claws at it, it goes. Probably should have done
11.
that last time. Okay, yeah. So the second time he gets a little bit too much of it, and he's seeing double a little bit. Okay. Zaylene.
I'm seeing that my good friend Buster is having some problems, so I'm going to cast Hunger of Hadar up in that area where all three of those ones are.
All right, like up here?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a 20-foot cube.
20-foot cube.
Oh, wait, a radius, not a cube. Sorry.
Okay. 20-foot
radius. It's a sphere.
Okay, so 20-foot radius is pretty big. That's 20-foot. There we go.
I'm trying to hit all three of them if possible.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, and not Buster.
Yeah, right. I'm just trying to. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. What happens to them now?
The void is filled with a cacophony of whispers and slurping noises, and then any creature that starts its turn in the area takes 2d6 cold damage.
Okay.
And then anyone that is in that area when their turn ends has to succeed on a dex save, or they take 2d6 acid damage.
Okay. So they they'll do that on their turn then. Okay. Anything else
and then
from you? Especially given that this you were grappled still by this pincer.
Yep.
Also,
I'm gonna cast. Can I cast a bonus action? Spiritual weapon or no?
No, because one spell and then a bonus action could be cantrip. But
has to be a cantrip.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm done.
Okay. All right, that is Zaylene's turn. So now it is the bridesmaids. Is what these things are called. These two that are starting up here are going to take 2d6 of your cold damage. So go ahead and roll that for them. Okay, 7. They each take that.
They're also blind. I don't know if that makes any difference for them.
These things actually. Oh wait, no, these don't. Hang on. Some things have blind sight. These things actually do not. But I think they can stumble. What they're actually going to do though is stumble towards the fungus and merge into it, which is their whole thing. Hang on, let me actually double check because I want to make sure that I'm playing fair with this thing. They do not have to be able to see the destination that they want to teleport to. They are in tune with the fungus all around them, and so they don't have to see. So, bloop, and yeah, there we go. Bloop. They both pop out like that. In fact, I guess no one would have seen that because it happened in there and it's dark in there. But one of them poofs out another radius of these green spores. Let me make another one of those. Yeah, it'll be like that. So I need another Constitution saving throw from Buster and Nedry and Zinhorn.
Still didn't make it.
Okay. This is a different thing. So now you have the purple. What about you, Nedry? What did you get?
I got to roll for him. 3 for Nedry, 27 for Buster.
Okay. Hang on, I have to check something real quick. Did you roll one for Buster? What did you?
Yep, 27.
Oh yeah, so he's fine. Sorry, so I just wanted to give a couple of extra versions here. Yeah, okay. I think that Nedry, you are now seeing that above each of these creatures, you're seeing strings leading away from them, almost like marionette strings. And you're seeing sort of luminous figures that seem to be translucent and hovering in the sky above them that look like they're controlling them. Zinhorn, you are, for a moment, you just sort of feel as though, gosh, the experience of these fungus creatures, like, seems like it would be really peaceful to just be able to like let go of all of your conscious thoughts, wouldn't it? Just for a split second, it seems like that would probably be really peaceful, wouldn't it? But then there's a moment where you sort of like, wait, what am I talking about? What is that? Okay. And then the other one here is going to send another poof of spores at you, Nedry. I know this is a lot of Constitution saving throws, but that's kind of what these things do.
Yep.
Okay,
13.
That's a success. So you are not hallucinating in the way that Carolina briefly did. Okay, now these two guys are also going to bloop into there.
I just want to do something next turn.
This has happened to you before, hasn't it? I seem to recall.
Yeah, so Zaylene, please make 2 Constitution saving throws. Oh, Zaylene's briefly AFK. So
Mistress
Carolina,
of the Dark has
yeah.
briefly whisked her
Yeah.
away.
So yes, Carolina, please make 2 Constitution saving throws.
not good at these.
Wait,
9.
Yeah. Okay.
6.
Yeah. No. So unfortunately, both of the, you are once again finding yourself awash in these
Awesome.
hallucinations.
I cannot use my new trick that could literally save us. Awesome. Just gonna sit here and stare at stars.
Okay, but that is. So now that you're back, Zaleen, please make 2 Constitution saving throws. Okay, so unfortunately, you failed one of them, even though you succeeded on the other. So you are now also suffering these same hallucinations that Carolina was, where I think the space between things suddenly seems to not correspond to their relative size and shape, and so it's hard to tell where everything is. Your depth perception is completely thrown off, and you're so distracted by that you almost forget that you've got giant pincer claws holding you in place.
Nice.
All right, that is those things, and so now Nedry, it is your turn again.
So luminous beings of any particular shape?
I'm going to say, first of all, here, that, well, how about this? I'll give you a chance to make an intelligence check here.
Oh, okay. Straight up int. At the end, am I
Yeah.
poisoned?
You are, yeah. So this would get.
Oh,
go
but
ahead.
this is not a. Is this an ability check? Yes, it is.
This is an ability check. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
11 then.
And 11 is still enough that I think for you, you are not, like, you're seeing these images, but I think it makes sense to you that these creatures, if they were really being, like, trying to hide and controlling something else, like if there was really some sort of, like, controlling figure up there, like, it wouldn't make sense for it to give you the spores that let you see them, right? So you see them up there, but you don't just automatically believe, wait, no, that's definitely real. You understand you just got dosed with psychoactive spores, and so you're not sure what the deal is, but you see things up there, but you don't. I'm not mechanically making you sure that that's real.
Okay.
You are
Yeah.
aware of the possibility that it is a hallucination.
I'm not sure what they're doing up there, but I don't really want to be down here either.
And so he kind of traces. I kind of imagine it's just an up arrow
Okay.
in the air, and casts Misty Step,
Okay.
and reappears. Well, let's see. Where does he want to reappear? There's not that many good options. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess they're all bad options. So why not take the one that's
certainly those the bridesmaids seem to only be able to emerge from the dense foliage, so they are away from the walls, so to speak.
yeah.
Helps a
But
little
there's
bit there.
plenty of things everywhere, so it's
But
not
yeah,
really,
some of the big guys can still trump over to you.
I think. Yeah, weirdly, it's going to be that side.
Okay. I think that like there's oh yeah, you can be up on top of stuff there. That's fine because you're Misty
Oh, right,
Step.
that's the dense foliage there. Doesn't really make a huge difference, so it'll be the other side then.
okay.
Oh, not right in the front of the thing though. Jesus.
How
Okay.
about yeah, right, if you're right
Right
here,
there.
you're just around the corner from that thing. It would have to go around it to
Okay.
get to you.
All right. Well, I still have my move anyway.
All right.
That's a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So with his action, he will cast Acid Splash
All right.
at the 2 that were facing off against Zinhorn.
Okay.
Actually, no. Not Buster's right there. It's going to be these 2 that are holding Lynn in place.
Sure. So what did they make a dexterity saving throw?
Yes, dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 1 and 2. Let's see those show up. 13 and 15.
So they both fail.
Okay.
They take 5 points of acid damage each.
All right. They do take it. They're doing okay for the moment, but they definitely both take the damage.
Okay. And then it's like there's literally no good places to run. However, standing next to Buster is better than not standing next to Buster. So he'll actually run over and stand next to Buster.
Not a bad idea.
At least it's a second target at the same
Yeah.
place.
Okay. That would make it then, Carolina, your turn. But once again, you're kind of got the hallucinations, so you can try to beat that save.
Yep, that is literally the only thing I can do.
Yeah.
Do not have high hopes. Oh,
Ah,
19 though.
Yeah, that's a success. You are no
But I
longer
will-
hallucinating.
I will break away just long enough to get put back under again.
Oh well, we'll see. You recognize though, like as frustrating as it is, you do at least realize that seems to be all these things can do. These things, you look at their like little arms, they're too kind of wispy to because they're really just sort of like moss tendrils, right? They're not so like it's annoying to have them keep dosing you like this, but they're not attacking otherwise. These ones anyway.
Does the poisoned condition still stay, or is it just the incapacitated?
No,
that
the
goes away?
incapacitated goes away. These things have basically 3 different versions of the spores that they can give you with, which is why I'm doing the different colors.
Okay, so still poisoned, but not incapacitated.
Right. So no,
Okay.
I don't think you were. So you are not. You do not have the poisoned condition.
Okay.
I'm putting the green dot on you if you have the poisoned condition. Then
Okay.
there's also the poison that just makes you hallucinate, and then there's also this thing that's represented by the purple dot.
Okay.
All right. So
HE.
Zinhorn, it is your turn. You may be muted again. I don't know if you said anything yet.
Muted. Okay. I was hoping Carolina would move. That did not happen.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I
You do notice the big thing that's got Zaleen pinned.
what big thing?
This thing.
Yeah. Oh.
That's
well,
got
that's
Zaleen grappled with its pincers.
Oh, because it. Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I
So
mentioned
was-
it.
Well then. I'm 15 feet away from it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hit it with my breath weapon.
I'll let you tag this one too. The bridesmaid there. So they make a dexterity save, and then the spore servant makes a dexterity save. 10 and 12 respectively. What are they trying to
They
beat?
both fail. 14.
All right. Yeah, they both fail.
All right, and that's going to be 14 points of damage.
Nice. This bridesmaid here that's right by you is almost entirely destroyed by that, but not quite.
Okay.
This monster thing is beefier, but it does take that damage.
All right. Well, for my bonus action, I'm going to move my hammer over, and we will take a swing at it. There it is. Okay. And the first roll was a 25.
Okay, 25 will hit for
well,
sure. Wait.
No,
Oh,
I'm at
yeah, with disadvantage, right? Yep.
Second roll is a 10.
Unfortunately, the 10 misses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can now make another Constitution saving throw to try to get rid of that poison condition.
An 11.
And 11, I believe. Yeah, that succeeds for that one. So you're no longer.
Yay! I'm no longer at disadvantage for
Yeah.
attack.
But you
Okay.
do still have these weird lingering thoughts of how peaceful it would be to just live like a mushroom. It's, again, no mechanical effect right now. It's just you notice those weird intrusive thoughts.
Okay.
All right. That is your turn. Are you going to move at all?
I was going to get out of this
Yeah.
bubble.
Recall that these things, like, theoretically might have opportunity attacks, but you haven't seen them do anything other than puff spores right now anyway.
Okay. I'm going to move over here out of that puff range
Okay.
and set up to help Lynn if she doesn't move next round.
All right.
All right, that's me.
Okay. It is now this monster's turn. It's got you grappled, Zaleen, but it is going to move over here and try to grapple Lynn with one of its other pincers. Gets a 24 to hit. It's going to do 10 bludgeoning damage, and now you are grappled as well. And it actually can't make a second attack because it's currently got the two of you grappled, one in each pincer.
Just need one solid turn.
Yeah. Okay, that is its turn. Now it's time for these two other guys here. So this one finally is going to take the 2d6 damage for being in the Hunger of Hadar. Feels like it's been a million years since that happened, huh? So go ahead and roll that 2d6. All right, wait. You have the 2d6, Jenny? In the meantime, this guy, I think
10.
10. All right. Yeah, this thing is barely holding itself together. Big chunks of its massive kind of, have managed to fall apart. So as you see it like stumbling out of this range here, it is, barely holding itself together, but it is going to try to slam Buster. Gets an 8 to hit with the first attack. That's probably not going to do it. And then an
Nope.
11, which I don't think hits either, right?
Nope.
All right, yeah. So it misses with its big, crumbling arms. All right, now it is Buster's turn. Wait, no, this other one gets to go. Sorry. 2, 3. Okay, so, yeah. I think this one is going to hit you, Nedry, or it's going to try anyway. That's a 10 to hit.
It's a miss.
And a 16.
Shield.
Okay, that deflects it.
Yep.
All right, success. Now it's Buster's turn.
All right. Well, Buster's annoyed with this one that tried to disappear into a dark shadow and then came out and tried to hit him, so he's not happy with that. Still poisoned. So let's see what the bite happens. Yeah. 18 to hit.
That's
18
yeah,
damage.
and it only had 1 hit point left, so he annihilates that one.
Let's see. There's another bigger target right there, so he'll move to the bigger target.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of dwarfing, so to speak,
Yep.
Nedry. Let's see, a claw attack.
I would imagine I'm going to offer that he is literally standing over you, like his 2 front legs are to either side of you, and you're like right under his chest.
I appreciate
21
that.
for sure hits. That's an 18 slashing.
Yep.
Nice. And then 21. Yeah,
21.
there you go. For another 11. So that one is hadn't been getting hit already, so it's pretty wounded by that, but it's still up. All right. That makes it. Buster can make another Constitution saving throw to try to shake off the poison. Poisoned condition.
Ah, there we go.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Zaleen, it is your turn. You are still grappled by this thing, but you can try to shrug off these hallucinations.
Okay. That's Constitution, right?
Yep. There you go.
10.
10 is what you needed to do that. So it's at the end of your turn, but you are able to, get your mind again.
Okay.
Okay, but now it is the turn of these things. So I think this one is going to come up and make another one of these clouds of spores. And try to get Buster again with that one.
15.
15 is a success. So once again, he is able to resist that effect. This one.
Is that Nedry as well?
It would be, except you are already infected with those spores, so it's no additional effect. This one is going to puff the hallucination spores at Buster. So another Constitution crit
29.
success for 29. He's fine. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and rule Buster immune to the spores for the rest of the encounter here. Okay, but these guys down here. So this one is going to move over to try to get Zinhorn with the hallucination. But Zaleen, you can actually make an opportunity attack if you want.
Okay.
I don't know if you have something you can.
I have a dagger.
Yeah. Might as well. And 11 misses, unfortunately. But Zinhorn, Constitution saving throw, please. Everyone, just keep holding your finger over the Constitution saving throw button, because that's. Okay, yeah, you were able to resist that hallucination effect, and I think actually. Zaleen, you're going to make one more of these. But I think, well, yeah. Go ahead and make your one more, Zaleen. Okay, so unfortunately you find yourself hallucinating some more. But, Carolina, I think that you are finding that even though they do try to, one of them, They both try to puff those spores at you, but I think you realize you've got a little bit of a tolerance of it. You're able to kind of like it's still happening, but I'm basically ruling that it can't do that. Like it can't have that effect on you anymore. But you are nonetheless still grappled by the other giant monster.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that is those things trying to do that to you. So, Nedry, it's up to you now. Your turn.
No pressure. Despite the fact that the big thing's in front of him, he still looks over to his friends and circles what he could see of Lynn, and then drags the image to another place to cast Vortex Warp.
Nice.
And move her. Let's see what's the range? Oh, I could put her in a tree. Oh wow, that I can see within range. Jeez. Okay, well I'm gonna put her. Wait. Say there.
All right.
Because it's not in the woods at that point.
You find yourself teleported out of the pincer claws, Lynn, and deposited a distance away. All right.
I think that's it.
Okay, good job. Carolina,
gotta
it
get a
is now
turn.
your turn. Yes, you get to make a turn.
Okay. From my
I-
first trick, I am
I-
going to
You're still feeling woozy
run.
for flavor, but you were no longer incapacitated.
Yeah, I'm going to make a mad dash for Zaylene and like grab onto her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to cast Dimension Door.
Okay.
And I'm gonna move us like here. Wait, let me see. Yeah, we'll go there. So
Alright.
I can't move her, but
Sure.
yes, we're going there.
Okay. So, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Good job.
And yeah, so I think that is all I can do because the other thing that I want to do I think requires a full action because it's
Okay.
not like
Mm.
inspiration, so it's different. Oh, but I could do that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna look at Nedry,
Mm-hmm.
like, thanks, dude, appreciate it, and sing him a little tune. And poof, he's got the 1d8 bardic inspiration.
Great.
Just like poof, there, you got it.
All right. Zinhorn. You're muted.
All right. This is what I've been waiting for.
Mm.
I am going to cast Flame Strike,
Nice.
and that will be at 5th level.
Flame Strike, I think, is a relatively small area, right? It's like 10,
It's 10-foot diameter.
10-foot diameter. So it's basically 2 squares by 2 squares.
Right. But that green circle at the bottom that's got 2 of the bridesmaids and the big dude,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm casting it.
Okay, well, so if you want to hit the big dude, you'll only be able to get one of the other bridesmaids because we're talking. Remember, 2 squares by 2 squares.
Okay.
So you can get the big guy and the one that is next to him though, and they make dexterity saving throws.
No, it's a to hit. No, I'm sorry. Dex of 15. Dex of 15.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was just looking at it. Okay, so let's see. The bridesmaid gets a 6. That's gonna fail, I think. And then the Trool Spore Servant gets a 9. They both fail, and so that's
13 points of damage.
what is that extra thing? Oh, it adds it up for some reason. Because there it looks like it's 13 fire and 8 radiant. Is that right?
The creature takes 4d6 fire damage and 4d6 radiant.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So it's 13 fire damage and 8 radiant damage.
Yep.
So for 21. Okay. That is a substantial hit to both of them. The bridesmaid is almost entirely devastated by that, but not quite. She's got 1 hit point.
And then we'll move the.
As you, I think you light up the whole area, though. There's this almost like a lightning strike of fire, orbital bombardment.
Nuke them from orbit. It's
Yeah.
the only way to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the. There we go. Spiritual weapon against the big guy.
Mm-hmm. You're no longer at disadvantage.
It's a 13.
Okay, a 13 misses, unfortunately. Yeah. It would hit against the other guys that are all spongy, but not the armored one. All right.
That's not. Actually, I'm going to move.
Okay. Where are you going to move to? Okay. You're going to pass by the opportunity attack range of the big mossy guy.
Oh, well, I mean, I've got enough movement that I can, go over
No,
here
because
and then go up.
yeah, you could no, because you see, all of this stuff here is not It's not just
Oh.
free. It's like that's solid mass. You can't go through that
Okay.
stuff. I mean, if you want to you can just run past and risk a slam attack.
Yeah, I'll run past and risk a slam
Okay.
attack.
He gets a critical miss. So you're good.
All right.
Okay. It is now Pinchy Boy here, who has lost his previous targets. I think he's going to scuttle up this way towards his nearest available target, which is now you, Nidri. And let's see what he can do here. So he's going to try to pincer you. Gets an 18 to hit.
Is that an attack roll?
Yes.
Yeah, I still have a spells left. So shield.
All right.
It bounces off the shield.
And he's going to try with his other pincer. And that's only a 13, so that will also bounce off the shield. Okay. Now it's Buster's turn.
Okay.
Look, everyone's coming to Buster.
Target rich environment.
Yeah.
So and he's not poisoned anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he will bite at the big thing because that's
Sure.
right next to him.
Yeah. 18 definitely hits. I think 14 destroys him. Yeah, so the bite just tears that one apart.
Probably next just kind of mow down things in his way with hopefully
Mhm.
not squishing Nedry in the way, but just a swipe at that creepy spore lady.
Mm-hmm. 17 will definitely
17.
hit. And so that, which one were you doing? The left one or the right one? For that
The
first?
one that's closest, yeah.
Okay, that one is destroyed because it only had one hit point.
Okay, and same on the other.
All right,
to hit.
and 11 misses, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right, but still, that's 2 targets down. That's pretty good. All right. Zeline, it is your turn. Were you re-hallucinating at the end of the last time? No, you...
Yep, I just rolled my Constitution save.
Okay, there you go. I think you suddenly realize, oh, wait. Lynn really did teleport me across the clearing. That did happen.
Yeah, that was trippy. That's my turn.
All right, now it's more of these guys here. So I think this one is going to come over and try to make you hallucinate, Nedry. So that's going to be Constitution saving throw for you.
8.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, you are now finding yourself really fascinated by the strange texture of the ground here, to the point where you can't really concentrate on anything else. I think these two are going to come up and try to do that to Buster, but I had already ruled that he's essentially immune to all of that at this point. These two, one of them disappears into the fungus and appears next to Zinhorn. And so that's another Constitution check for you, saving throw. And this
12.
one appears up here. 12 is a success. You are not hallucinating. This one disappears into the fungus and emerges up here, and then it's going to trundle over to the two of you and go and try to zap you again, Zaleen, I'm afraid. Okay, you succeed though, and I'll go ahead and rule that you're good with that from now on. Like, you're feeling the effects, but you can kind of work past it. Okay, that is their turn. Nedry, you can make a saving throw to try to pull your attention away from how interesting the ground is here.
That's an 11.
That's a success. So, at the very least, no longer hallucinating. Lynn, your turn.
This purple circle, is that something persisting?
That is Zaleen's Hunger of Hadar.
Okay. And
so
that's
it looks
still
like
there,
a
right?
writhing, dark mass of tentacles and slithering sounds.
Yeah. Everybody moved. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, uh, I don't like this guy, so I'm trying to decide if that's like okay. So I wanted to use lightning bolt
Mm-hmm.
on this guy, the big guy here.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get Nedry. It's a
Yeah. I'll.
100-foot
I'll.
line,
Yeah.
5
You
foot
can.
wide.
Yeah. Yeah. You can. You
Okay.
can do that. You're basically
Okay.
targeting its butt. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was originally I could have gotten like 3 targets, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
don't think it's going to hit. I don't think it's going to hit that one there.
focus fire on the ones that can actually hurt you would be my advice.
Yeah. So, I actually think I'm going to back up a little bit.
Okay.
Go like
It makes a
here.
dexterity saving throw against the lightning, I think.
Yes. I'm just want to make sure I'm still in
It
range
got a
here.
15.
Hang on 1 second, and I will tell you what it is. 16.
All right, fails.
Awesome.
Zappity.
Ugh, that was a lot of dice. 33.
Nice. You you would get to see a cartoon skeleton for a moment, except it's kind of a bug, so it's really got an exoskeleton already. So
Just kind of glows
you
in the
see
dark.
little cartoon organs inside of the cartoon skeleton. So yeah, it is substantially zapped. You burn off a lot of the fungus that had been sort of sticking out the bits of it. It is still moving, but it is substantially wounded by that. It's looking a little bit shaky now. Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it for right now.
Nice. Okay. Zinhorn.
I am going to go after the big guy with my hammer first. That is my spiritual weapon.
Yep.
So, well, let me move it over. There we go. And natural 20.
Nice. I won't even make you roll the damage. You just, how would you like to describe the effect of your spiritual hammer destroying this thing? Or I will, if you would prefer.
My hammer hits it and just slams it straight down into the ground, and its spiky little feet just sink into the muck, and its head just goes squish.
Yeah. Crunch. Yeah, it is. It is definitely not getting back up after that. It looks like even if it were not dead and still somehow animated by fungus, it just literally does not have the physical structure required any longer. So nice. That's dead. Now you still have your action, I think.
Yes, and I'm going to use my freezing drill spear to attack the bridesmaid in front of me.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever said, but the big mossy guys were chamberlains.
I rolled a 9.
A 9 is a miss, unfortunately.
Okay.
You were
Are
so
you telling
pumped
us they were
about hitting
wilted
with the spiritual
chamberlains?
weapon. What?
Are you saying they were wilted chamberlains?
Well, you know,
Yes.
once you did them some harm, yeah. Gotta wilt chamberlains.
Do some massive damage.
And I can't. Well, if I move away, I'll take an opportunity attack. Right?
Well, these things don't seem capable of it, really.
Okay. So yeah, in that case, I'm just going to move over here and help out Nedry.
All right.
All right.
Good job.
That's me.
Now it's Buster's turn.
probably a little whimper of, "Oh, the big ones are gone." But let's start with a bite. The one to his right of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. It is.
Claw to-
Yeah.
Claw to the
He
next
basically
one.
just bites the whole top half of it off of the bottom half of it. That first claw attack misses.
Yeah. And with the same one that's basically right beside Nedry. 16.
16 hits. And 15 is exactly how many hit points it had left. So that one is destroyed as well. All right. And I would imagine he's probably staying right there.
Pretty much. Everything's within
Okay.
range.
Zaleen.
Bonus action, spiritual weapon.
Mm-hmm. Here, let me get you your spiritual. Oh, I keep forgetting. No, I did make it. Never mind. There it is. Hang on. Let me.
Patrol.
I'll wait for it to show up on the screen. There we go. And all right, you should be able to control it.
And I'm going to attack her.
Okay.
It says I got a 19.
A 19 hits for sure.
And it's 6 force damage.
Okay. 6 is not enough to destroy it, but you definitely knock off like a Pac-Man wedge out of its head.
Nice. And then I'm going to use my action to cast Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
And I would have to do it at disadvantage if I were to attack her, right? Because she's right in front of me.
Right.
Okay, then I will get the other 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that is...
I think the one that's on the other side of Buster from you would have 3/4 cover because Buster's big.
So that's a disadvantage?
No, it would have a bonus to its AC, but
Okay.
but the other one here would be, you'd be fine there. So
Okay,
you wanted that to be one against each?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one that has cover behind Buster, it would be a miss, but the other one hits.
Okay. So that is 8 damage.
All right. That one is also significantly injured now.
Okay.
Did everyone remember Death Becomes Her, where Goldie Hawn gets the shotgun blast through her stomach? So I think that you do that. The Eldritch Blast just goes right through the center of mass of this thing, and you just realize it's just all spongy fungus inside. There's no organs or blood or anything.
That's my turn.
But now it's a little wobbly on top because it doesn't have as much support.
Fried mushrooms.
Yeah.
Ew.
All right. That was Aileen's turn. So it is now these things' turn again. This one is going to continue. I think it makes no sense that it wouldn't. They're not smart enough to realize, oh, that's not working on the big one. I should maybe still try to kill the big one. So it does. It poofs at Buster. This one, I think, comes over to try to hallucinate you, Zinhorn. So, Constitution saving throw, please.
Alrighty. I got an 8.
An 8. Okay, yeah, you are briefly finding you're so overwhelmed with how good everybody else is doing right now that just for a little bit you realize, oh, you can give in to this impulse and just kind of stand there like a mushroom for a little bit. Okay. And then this one up here is trying to spray those spores at you, Zaleen, but you're able to, ignore them for the moment. Okay, Nedry.
Okay. Dragon Brother came over, but he kind of stopped. So that's probably bad. I'm pretty sure that Buster can hold the thing, so I'm going to cast Ray of Frost at this one.
Okay.
And that's that's the hit.
21 will hit. For 15. Yeah, you shatter that one into pieces. You freeze it and it stops moving, and then it kind of tips over and breaks apart.
And I think kind of wandering away, we'll kind of move over here.
Okay. All right. Lynn, it's your turn.
Okay. We are gonna move. Oh, nope, wrong thing. Now we're gonna move. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go right here. And I am going to use my freezing spears again.
Okay.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Ooh.
Which one are you
26.
attacking first?
The one that's got saline.
Okay, yeah, I figured. 26 definitely hits.
I will roll that damage. 9.
9 does not entirely destroy it, but it's barely hanging on.
Well, let's go again.
All right.
Oh, it's
There you
not
go.
up anymore.
Yeah,
That was
no,
a natural 20.
Yeah, all of a sudden that spear just comes out like, it's extra spiky and just tears it to
And
pieces.
just
Yeah.
I still have one left, but Buster's kind of in the way. I
Yeah,
don't think I can hit
I'm
it
not
from where
going to
I'm
make
at.
you risk hitting him. It just
Yeah.
makes it harder to hit the enemy. Because
Yeah,
it's like, I
it's
can't
like
get a
direct
shot. I can't get a
line.
shot. That's the issue, right?
Yeah, I don't have the third shot, so I'm kind of
Well, no, I'm
holding
saying
on
you
to
can
the
you
spear,
can
like-
roll it. You'll just have to hit higher. is to hit. Is
all
what
right.
I'm
We'll
saying.
give it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, 20.
Yeah. A 20 will do it.
Nice.
You wait for just the crucial moment, and that one
8.
only had 1 hit point left. So how do you
Yes!
finish off the last enemy?
She comes running around the side of Buster and like in this like flying leap, just like slow-mo. The spear comes flying out of her hand and through the very center of this last bridesmaid, which just all over the place in a sparkly,
Nice.
puffy cloud.
Did that really happen? It's hard to tell right now.
Yeah. So I think as you all are, taking a moment to see, are you safe for the moment? Is that all of the threats at the moment? I think Zinhorn, you are kind of recognizing with some concern, perhaps, that these thoughts about wanting to just exist like a mushroom are like, it's not really your thoughts, and yet they are in your head. At the same time, Nedry, you kind of still feel like every time you look around at things, like in the corner of your eye, you keep feeling like you're seeing something else there, and then it's not there when you look directly at it. Zaleen, something under your skin just itchy. What is it?
Okay, so
yeah.
I can maybe fix this, but it will cost you.
What do you think it is? Because it might actually be there. It's a little hard to tell.
Okay, I can. Y'all not looking well, but if I do this, you're going to be real tired. Just mechanically speaking, you'll gain 1 level of exhaustion.
Well, what is it? Do you know what it is?
Oh well, it's kind of fun, but it's really tiring. But you'll feel better, only just really tired.
No, I mean, what's happening to us?
You're poisoned. I think all those spores, like that, cannot be good for you.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just imagine, just for the comic bit, that we have the tight shot on Lynn saying, "Y'all don't look so good," and then we'll cut to the 3 of you standing there with like spore slime coming out of your nostrils and just big red shot eyes.
Okay. Are you okay with being tired?
Yeah.
I'm
I
always
think so.
tired.
Yeah.
I
okay.
gotta ask. I'm gonna ask first. So you can choose not to, but I think everybody should go ahead and dance their heart out. And Lynn will start playing a vaguely familiar song. You can't quite place it, but it really makes you want to move your feet. Like, I think Zaylene is probably reminded of that night of clubbing in Pashan with Trina.
Yeah.
And maybe depending on what levels of the Endless Waltz you went through, like if there were any like raves going on.
Oh yeah,
you know,
well
maybe
the first
you're
one
getting
that
a
you
little
went
hint
through,
of that.
you know, in the fireplane.
Yeah, very very like Burning Man kind of thing.
So
and
it is definitely music that makes you feel like, yeah, just move to that. Just it's good.
So anybody that chooses to dance, you're going to gain 1 level of exhaustion, but you will be cleared of any conditions, including blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, and poisoned. And for the next 10 minutes, you will gain advantage on any saving throws to resist those conditions. But after that, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. So
Right.
You do.
it's a party for like 10 minutes.
Does everybody participate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I think just finding
Everybody
that
dance now.
yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
or what is love, baby? That's a hard move to do, actually. Anyway,
Yeah, I think that's bound for neck pain is what that is.
Anyway,
I think
go ahead.
I think Nedry dances like a Charlie Brown kid. You know, the kind of slump neck and kind of feet are flapping. That's just about it.
But certainly, as you find yourself really enjoying and just losing yourself in the music for a little while, and just it really does start to feel very cathartic and just powerful emotionally, and you do find that those strange intrusive thoughts, the hallucinations, the itchiness, the strange, images, like all of that does start to go away, and it's very clear that you find yourself feeling the influence of the spores dissipating from you.
You're sweating out all that bad stuff.
I think while you're all dancing, Buster is kind of pacing around you, concerned at how weird you're all being. But otherwise,
I just feel like you wanted to come.
Yeah. So, in any case, though, this is all happening, and you're feeling better, though tired. But I think all of you are definitely recognizing, even in the own sense of how you feel, that like you have rid yourself of something serious that you were only starting to see the beginning of, and as soon as you get it out of you, you feel like, oh, I'm tired now, but that better than it would have been. But as you're starting to kind of like come down from that whole experience a little bit, you hear a voice saying, "You there?" And you look over and you see a figure wrapped up in all like head to toe with goggles and like bindings all around like the mouth and everything, and just like completely covered, like no exposed skin. And they approach and pull down like the wrappings over their face and lift up the goggles, and it is Tabitha of the Stars, the tabaxi that you went to go meet in the administration building, just going like, "Have you not been in here all this time?" And
oh, good, we found you.
That's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Yay! Not everyone was turned into mushrooms.
I know, that was my thought too. I was like, oh god, they all got turned into like
Yeah, we're
fun
killing
guys.
all the people we came to save.
What
No.
I'll say is those things that you were fighting, the bug monster is the exception. They did not seem to have people parts inside. They're shaped like a humanoid, but when you hit them, they seem to be just entirely plant matter inside. They're like no bones or organs or anything.
Mm.
No bones about it.
So
Mhm.
that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And we will return to find out what happens next when we play more adventure on so many levels.
So many
So many
levels.
levels.